name is Morgan Schaffner, and I'm sitting here with the band Fermin. And they are here playing tonight with us, for us, here on JMU's campus. And yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys a couple questions. First things first is, how did you guys come to the name Fermin?
So that is also the name of the running of the Bulls Festival, Fermin. And when I was writing the record, I was interested in that as a concept because it's people sort of putting themselves in a larger-than-life situation, sort of life and death, high stakes, and in order to feel alive. And it's totally crazy, and probably I wouldn't condone running in the Bulls pretty good, but it's an interesting idea, and on a much sort of more manageable scale, I think it's a little bit what making music is like.
Definitely. Awesome. And so then, for anyone who hasn't heard of you all, how would you generally describe your sound?
Oh, God. A pastiche of post-chamber rock.
Chamber pop gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah,
That's like a vulgar term.
I've heard that one, chamber pop. Anything else you want to throw in there?
Complicated. Yeah. Lots of moving parts.
Really difficult. Oozing of talent.
Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. People generally have pretty strong opinions afterward, but no two people seem to have the same opinion, so maybe you can tell us after the show. Yeah.
There we go, awesome. And then how has your band grown and changed? I know there's 8 of you right here, right now, but I feel like a lot more went into actually making the album.
Yeah, so on the record there's 22 people who play, which was great when you're doing a studio record, but when you start to think about a band and how it's going to travel and how it's going to look on stage, and really the musical relationships that are going to grow, you want something that's a little more manageable, because I mean, one of the things that's been so exciting about this band is how having 8 really good musicians in a room every night really changes the sort of the music. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it took a little bit of work. I know on Ellis's part to sort of write parts that were originally for 22 people to pare that down for 8, and so there were vocal harmonies that aren't in there and that kind of thing. But definitely over the course of touring, we played almost 40 gigs in 2 months or something like that in the last 2 months. And over the course of that time, we definitely settled in and sort of found what people can do and how we can flesh it out. But 8 people on a live stage, it definitely sounds full. But yeah, 22 is just terrible. It's impossible.
Awesome. And then, so how did you guys find each other? How did this all come to be?
Well, Alan and I have been we met each other when we were 14, so we've been best friends since then.
Great.
And we started writing music a long time ago. And then when I went off and wrote this record, I knew I wanted him to sing, but that's sort of all I knew. And then when we came back, the relationships are various. Like John and Steve were at school with me and playing their brass instruments there. Tyler was.
Yeah, I was Alan's guitar teacher at NYU, yeah, and fantastic student.
It's not true. It's not true.
So yeah, there's a bunch of random connections for sure.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome, and I'm kind of also, I've been wondering, listening to your album again and again, what are some of your biggest influences, either personally or as a band?
Well, yeah, I guess I should answer. I mean, so there's some very obvious sort of influences that when you listen to the record, you can sort of hear it. Like Sufjan Stevens is, I think, a really big one for us. Like that Illinois album is sort of, it's probably my favorite record. And I think what's really cool about it is that it's so grand in scope, but it's so specific from song to song. There's a song for Kazimir Pulaski Day. There's very specific small things that are observations that lead to a much larger thing, and that was a really helpful model for writing this record, because it was it's sort of terrifying to try to write a record about big themes, but it's pretty manageable to write songs about very specific things.
Very specific moment or
yeah, exactly.
occurrence. And so what was the songwriting process like doing that?
Well, so I was in Canada, and I was in this cabin by myself, which was really cool, but sort of lonely.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing that, you're kind of like everything feels a little bit extra dramatic, you know. And then it was in the mountains. It was like kind of this really amazing landscape. And so I'd write, and then sort of towards the end of it, I started sending these songs to Alan, and he'd critique and be like, "Yeah, that lyrics, you can change that a little bit," or just like that doesn't fit my I quit. And then what's been cool now with the live show is like I know Steve in particular, like his parts have changed a lot based on his own training. And he gets a little chromatic on it sometimes.
Yeah, I have a history of ignoring the sheet music. And then it's been a process with every player just sort of making these parts really their own. I mean, like Mike and I met up for a while and worked through his drum sounds where it was like, okay, how is this set going to sound just like us and not like anything else?
Still a work in progress.
Still a work in progress.
But it has opened up a lot since, hearing the record and the first few shows that we played and then scaling it back to 8 people. I've definitely changed around a lot of stuff in my parts. And it's like it's opened up a lot, which is really nice. And you get to play off of each other a lot more.
Like the count.
Like count, yeah, that's changed almost completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
We added a whole extended jam moment in it.
Ooh.
Which is probably everyone's favorite part
Extended
of the show.
jam. Yeah.
Extended jam. In 8
It's
bars.
8 bars. That's about all you'll get from us. Yeah.
That's excellent. And so you guys are here. You're touring. And you weren't even a band a year ago, right?
That's right. It's almost our birthday.
Oh, really? Nice. Anniversary of sorts.
We're going to go to a really romantic dinner together.
We do every night.
Usually at the gig.
Yeah.
At the gig.
Over burritos.
And so I can't even fathom what has this journey been like, and I know this is a huge question, but like what has it meant to you just to have such a huge change in your lives over the last year? I know it's
it's for me, it's not as big of a change as you would think because it doesn't take a lot of getting used to when people are screaming and cheering and appreciative of what you do every single night.
Yeah.
The weird part is when you take a short break from it. We go back to New York for a week or so when we're not on tour, and that's the weird part because you sort of have to go back to reality. And as amazing as New York City is, it's not as exciting as going to another city every day and being told you're awesome and just keep doing what you do.
Yeah.
That's totally true. Why do you always say that every time I say something?
Specifically, John in particular, he's the awesome one.
Yeah.
He gets that. It is tough. It's a hard transition.
But I mean, it's all kind of been a blur. There's been so much stuff that's happened in such a short period of time. But yeah, I mean, mainly the stuff that sticks out is just the overwhelming support that we've gotten all over the place. You guys included. But yeah, I mean that's been the best part. And yeah, it does feel a little bit like losing your superpowers when you go home. But it's mainly taken up by sleep, to be honest with you.
Well, it's like in such short a time is filled with like intense overstimulation and experience after experience after experience after experience, and that's like very overwhelming. And like statistics would probably prove that in that time, like huge things happen to you if you're bouncing around so much, and meeting so many people.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone else?
I was about to peace out of New York until Ellis emailed me. So it literally changed my life this year, and I'm grateful for it because I love you guys.
Give it time.
That's the other weird. I guess that is weird. Like it's 8 people, but we've been together for we've spent so much time together now. And I took a week off. I played a different gig in a different city for a week, and within a day, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I missed them." I didn't know how to deal with myself. It was so weird. It was only like a week.
Thank goodness for Twitter.
Yeah, thank God.
Exactly, social media. And so you guys have become this awesome little family of sorts.
Definitely a family.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm always curious. So, what have you guys been listening to in the van, in the car, what were you listening to on your way here?
Oh man.
Christmas music.
We were listening to a nice band called Fox, Phox, on the way down, which actually we know some of them.
Man.
Yeah, Man. A lot of times we will just, kind of pop in an old 90s playlist and jam out to like Lit or something.
And today, at least your car was listening on the radio to us.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
for the very first time today, we heard, I personally, for the first time, heard Sunset on the radio, which was like an amazing experience, and we were yelling and screaming in the car.
We have to tell you this story though very, very briefly because it didn't actually come to fruition. But so when we were driving from another radio station this afternoon, it was his car, and then this other car, and then our car, we're like the other half of the band. So we heard Sonsic blaring out of someone's window, and we were positive. Sonsic with an O because that's how you pronounce English words. And we heard it really loud, and we were positive it was coming from the car in front of us. We were like, how surreal is this that they're playing our song? Like, we were going crazy. So Tyler was driving, and we thought, we gotta pull up next to them and say, like, that's us.
Yeah.
We couldn't get around, so we honked. And we were kind of like, we were ready to be like, that's us. And like these people just like turned around and like gave us a finger, and we're like, ugh. And then it turned out it actually wasn't them listening at all.
It was the other car.
It was Steven's car. So, false start.
We thought it was fans, but it was just vanity.
But she turned around, the girl in that car turned around and shouted at us, "Get on with your bad self!"
Yeah.
Oh, is that what she said?
So I don't think
Yep,
I don't think she was that perturbed.
Well, Steven was definitely doing this motion.
That's great. Yeah, I saw the video that you guys posted. It was on Facebook, right?
Yeah, that was the rest of it.
Yep, saw that already. And was it through WNRN?
I think it might have been on the other one.
It was on 101.
The corner, 106.1.
Okay.
It was
No.
101.1.
That's where we heard it. But then 106.1 played it later, like at 3 o'clock or something. We did a session with this morning.
Awesome.
It's cool to have that. I mean, it's like, that is sort of, and when you're doing this kind of thing, it feels like every day's a grind. Kind of, you're waking up, you're playing these shows, but then you're like, every now and then there's little moments where you're like, oh, like that's something that I'll remember. That's really something, like we're doing the right thing. Remember some guy was whistling Sunsick on his bike as he rode by me in Brooklyn. I was like, "You guide, yes." Okay.
Moment's gone. But excellent. And so tomorrow night you guys are going back to New York and playing a hometown gig at the the Music Hall of Williamsburg, right? So
Next Thursday.
next Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're playing at Ace Hotel this
Friday. We're doing like a free show to promote the one on Thursday.
So are you guys super stoked to get back, or?
Yeah, I mean the hometown shows are so much fun. We haven't played in New York since we played our release party for the record all the way back in September.
Oh wow.
And it's a good problem to have, but that show is sold out so quickly that a lot of our friends didn't get in. Like people we're close with who we have to see all the time and feel guilty about. But this one's like twice the size. It's in Brooklyn. It should be a blast. We're really excited.
Awesome, definitely. And then, of course, my last question is, in a movie of your life, which actor would play you?
Christian Bale.
John and Duff.
Adrian Brody.
Okay.
Who knows?
Tyler, you can take Ferris Bueller, right?
Matt.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Are you kidding me? What?
The hair.
I thought it was more intense than Gene Wilder.
You are.
As played by Gene Wilder.
I could go with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Somebody told me.
Yeah, I see that.
All right, yeah.
I have no idea.
You're definitely the dude from Breaking Bad.
I don't know. I'll take like Jet Li and I'll go for like the Kung Fu kind of way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Great.
I have no idea.
Rebecca, come on, you can do this.
Pamela Anderson.
I was gonna go for Lindsay
Alright.
Lohan, but like,
Lindsay Lohan, I see
Yeah.
that.
Perfect.
Ray would probably play herself.
yeah, Ray would
Yeah, and then you guys are all up on social media. You have Facebook and Twitter. Anything else people should know about?
It's Sunsick.
Sunset.
Describe what Jen said.
Ellis, confirm it. It's your song.
It's Sunset, absolutely right.
There you go.
Yeah, no, Facebook, Twitter, we're really active because in all of our downtime we sort of like Twitter to
sure we will favorite your
Yeah,
job.
you can
Yeah.
be very sure that all of us will
We,
favor
we
it.
see everything.
Yeah.
Say hi.
And Instagram.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're on.
San
San
Fermin
Fermin.
Band.
So again, all right, great. Well, that's all we have for now, and thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.